So what if I told you that the secret to fixing most of your mobility problems doesn't actually involve any movement at all? I know, it sounds totally backward, right? Well, stick with me, because today we're going to dive into some fascinating science that shows how just standing still might be the most powerful way to get you moving again. Okay, let's really tackle this idea head-on, because it pretty much challenges everything we think we know about flexibility and getting around. But believe it or not, the research is pointing to this incredibly powerful and, surprisingly simple solution. And look, this isn't just a theory. We've got the hard data. Check this out. A huge study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, we're talking nearly 16,000 people, found that isometric exercises, where you just hold a position still, they beat traditional stretching by a massive 47% for improving mobility. This isn't just a small edge, folks. This is a total game changer. And when you look at the real-world impact, wow, it's just as stunning. Another study, this time from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, found that after just 12 weeks of this kind of training, a staggering 95% of adults between 65 and 80 showed real, measurable improvements. And no, that is not a typo, 95%. So what on earth is going on here?
Well, it turns out that all the stiffness and difficulty moving that so many of us just blame on getting older, it's not really about the years at all. The real problem, the root cause, is a breakdown in the connection between your brain and your muscles. It all comes down to control.
So here's the key concept: neuromuscular control. Think of it like this. Your brain is the software that runs your body's hardware. But over time, that software can get a little, glitchy. Your brain literally starts to forget how to fire up certain muscles the right way. And these isometric holds, they act like a complete system reboot, strengthening that brain-muscle link and retraining your body to move the way it's supposed to.
All right, enough of the why, let's get to the how. We're going to count down the 5 most effective isometric holds that really target the most common mobility problems out there. We'll kick it off with number 5 and work our way right down to the absolute most essential one. So, coming in at number 5 is the classic wall sit. Now, this looks simple, but it is an absolute powerhouse for fixing an issue called quad dominance deficiency. What that means is, as we get older, our quads tend to weaken, which then forces our back and our hips to do all this work they were never designed for. This hold retrains those quads, which is so critical for everyday stuff like, just getting up out of a chair. Now, to do it right, you're going to slide your back down a wall until your thighs are parallel to the floor, or, hey, as low as you can comfortably go. The big thing is to make sure your knees are right above your ankles, not creeping out past your toes. Press your entire back flat against that wall and just hold. Maybe start with 3 20-second holds and see if you can build from there.
And the payoff for this one is so real. Research shows that people who do wall sits regularly improve their ability to get up from a chair by 23%. I mean, think about that. That is a huge boost in independence and just confidence from one simple hold.
Okay, let's move on to number 4, the glute bridge hold. This one tackles a really common problem that physical therapists have a fantastic name for. They call it gluteal amnesia.
And yes, you heard that right. Your brain can literally forget how to use your butt muscles. It's a real thing. And when your glutes kind of go dormant like that, your lower back and your hip flexors have to pick up all the slack. And that leads directly to that nagging back pain and that constant hip tightness that so many of us feel.
So for this one, you just lie on your back with your knees bent, and you lift your hips up till your body forms a nice, straight line from your shoulders to your knees. But listen, here is the most important part. At the top, you have to consciously, actively squeeze your glutes. That squeeze is everything. It's what wakes those muscles up and reestablishes that connection with your brain.
And the result? Well, after just 6 weeks, studies show a 19% improvement in hip extension. Now, that's the movement that lets you push off when you walk. So this one single exercise can literally make walking feel smoother and way more powerful.
Now for a number 3 hold, the supported deep squat. This might just be the most fundamental human posture that we've completely lost. Little kids do it all the time, naturally, but for most of us adults, it feels impossible. Reclaiming it is one of the biggest keys to unlocking your total lower body mobility.
The key word here is supported. You do not have to do this on your own. Just grab a sturdy door frame or a heavy piece of furniture. Hold on tight as you lower yourself down as far as you can comfortably go, trying to keep your heels on the floor. Let your arms take as much of your weight as you need. The whole goal is just to spend time in that position and let gravity gently open up your ankles, your knees, and your hips.
All right, on to number 2, the standing hip flexor stretch hold. And listen, if you sit for any significant part of your day, this one is absolutely non-negotiable for you. All that time spent sitting shortens the muscles right at the front of your hips, and that pulls your entire posture out of whack and can lead to some really chronic back pain.
So here's what makes this an isometric hold. You get into a lunge position, but then, and this is the secret sauce, you tuck your pelvis forward and you squeeze the glute of your back leg. Then you actively try to drag that back foot forward, even though it's not going to move. That active tension is what makes this a whopping 38% more effective than just, passively hanging out in the stretch. You're actively reprogramming the muscle.
Okay, so we've covered all the lower body essentials, but the single most important hold for improving your overall mobility, well, it might not be what you think it is. Surprise! It's actually the doorway chest stretch. And you're probably wondering, why? Well, think about modern life. All the screen time, all the sitting, it's constantly pulling our upper bodies forward into a slump. And this creates this huge cascade of problems that affects everything from your balance all the way down to your lower back. So to do this, you just stand in a doorway, place your forearms on the frame with your elbows right around shoulder height, and take a small step forward. Now, once you feel that stretch, here comes the isometric magic. You gently press your forearms into the door frame as if you're trying to squeeze it together. You hold that tension for about 20 seconds, and then you relax for 10. That's that contract-relax cycle that really unlocks some deep mobility gains.
And these results from a 12-week study show exactly why this is number 1. I mean, just look at this. The participants' hip mobility improved by 18% just from stretching their chest. Lower back pain dropped by an incredible 58%, and their balance improved by 21%. It's the ultimate proof that your body is one interconnected system. When you release the tension in your upper body, you allow your entire system to move more freely.
So there you have it. Here it is, all laid out, your daily plan. These 5 simple holds can address the root causes of most of the mobility issues people face. It's not about spending hours and hours in the gym. It's just about targeted, consistent effort.
And really think about it this way. The investment is tiny, just 10 or 15 minutes a day. But the payoff? It's enormous. We're talking about moving with less pain, feeling more confident and stable in your own body, and just getting back to doing the activities that you love.
The research on this is crystal clear. These simple, static holds really do have the power to fundamentally change how you move. The science has already done its part. The only variable left in the equation is you.